Strange New World's #1 story revealed a harsh reality about Pike as a Star Trek captain. For years, Star Trek fans have been fascinated by Captain Christopher Pike. Before James T. Kirk boldly took the helm of the USS Enterprise, Pike was the archetypal Starfleet captain, brilliant, morally steadfast, and undeniably charismatic. In Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, Pike's story has finally been explored in a depth that the original series only hinted at. Yet, what makes the show so compelling is not simply the heroism of Pike, but the uncomfortable truths it reveals about him as a Starfleet leader. From the very first episode, Strange New Worlds establishes Pike as someone who defies the traditional, stoic captain mold. He is empathetic, approachable, and seemingly perfect, qualities that fans have long assumed made him the ideal Starfleet officer. But the show doesn't let viewers rest in that comfort. The series gradually peels back the layers of Pike's persona, exposing vulnerabilities, doubts, and moral conflicts that challenge the idea of the perfect captain. The revelation comes into sharp focus with Pike's interactions with his crew. While he is often seen making heroic decisions, the show emphasizes the personal toll of leadership. Pike constantly grapples with the ethical dilemmas inherent in Starfleet's mission. He must weigh the value of a single life against the broader safety of entire civilizations. Unlike the episodic adventures of Kirk, Pike's stories dwell on the consequences of these choices, showing that even well-intentioned decisions can carry devastating consequences. In other words, being a good captain is never simple. The series doesn't shy away from showing Pike's mistakes and miscalculations, which humanizes him while simultaneously complicating his legacy. One of the most poignant aspects of Pike's narrative is how the show foreshadows the tragic future revealed in the original series. Fans familiar with the classic Star Trek lore know Pike's fate. He is severely injured in a mission that leaves him unable to move or speak, a situation encapsulated by the iconic cage seen in the menagerie. Strange New Worlds doesn't just reference this. It contextualizes it, showing that Pike's eventual disability is the result of the high-stakes decisions and relentless sense of duty he carries as captain. The series asks an uncomfortable question. Is Pike a hero because he always succeeds, or because he persists despite the personal cost? The show also examines Pike's leadership style in a way that highlights both his strengths and weaknesses. Unlike Kirk, who often relies on instinct and audacity, Pike is deliberate, thoughtful, and highly consultative. He listens to his crew, values collaboration, and respects the chain of command, but this approach sometimes slows decision-making at critical moments. The show cleverly positions these moments not as flaws, but as a commentary on the nature of leadership. Even a perfect captain cannot be infallible. Pike's story is a stark reminder that Starfleet's ideal of moral and strategic excellence is aspirational, not guaranteed. Moreover, Strange New Worlds does something rare in Star Trek storytelling. It doesn't rely solely on external threats to drive tension. Instead, it shows the internal conflicts of command as equally dramatic. Pike is constantly negotiating between duty, conscience, and the emotional well-being of his crew. In doing so, the series underscores a harsh reality. The life of a Starfleet captain is inherently isolating. Pike's burdens are invisible to most, and the show thoughtfully explores the loneliness that accompanies command. The crew sees the decisions, the victories, and sometimes the failures, but the personal sacrifices remain largely hidden, an insight that casts his heroism in a sobering light. Even Pike's relationships, both personal and professional, serve to illuminate this reality. His mentorship of officers like Spock in #1 is central to the narrative, yet these connections also indicate the emotional risks inherent in command. Pike cares deeply for his crew, but the pressure of responsibility forces him into moments of emotional restraint. Strange New Worlds doesn't romanticize these moments. It presents them with honesty, reminding viewers that empathy and authority are not always easy to reconcile. Pike's ability to balance these competing priorities is part of what makes him compelling, but it also comes at an undeniable cost. Ultimately, Strange New Worlds presents Pike as a captain who is simultaneously admirable and profoundly human. The harsh reality revealed by his story is that heroism is not about perfection. It is about endurance, moral courage, and the willingness to carry consequences that may never fully resolve. Pike's brilliance as a Starfleet captain is inseparable from his vulnerability, and it is this nuanced portrayal that sets Strange New Worlds apart from previous depictions of Star Trek leadership. The show challenges fans to